watercolor artist, but as you might see from the title of this video is about dry pastels, which is almost a completely new medium for me. I have barely used it before, but I like to experiment and I like to try out new mediums and see if I can incorporate it into my current style. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna be painting some cloud bunnies. This is a watercolor painting I did a while back. I'm going to change the colors a little bit, but the idea will be the same. Other than that, you'll just see how it goes. This is not meant to be a tutorial, but as you can see, the concept is quite simple. It's just bunnies and clouds. So if you want, feel free to follow along and make something similar with me. So let's get started and see how it turns out. Alright, I'm going to use a voiceover for this because I tried to talk in real time, but I ended up having a bit too many awkward pauses, so hopefully this is gonna be better. I am starting out with blocking out basic shapes. I decided that I want the clouds to surround the paper, but I also wanted to leave an opening for some sunlight to come in and shine upon the clouds. As you can see, I'm using a paper that already has some color to it, but I'm going to take advantage of this color and use it as a mid-tone for my painting. So here I am just drawing bunnies. This one has a little chicken leg. I'm placing the bunnies upon the clouds. You can, if you want, draw the bunnies before you do the clouds, but I find it easier to first have the cloud shape and then spread out the bunnies in the places where it looks best. And I wanted them to have different poses, so you'll see a few of them are sitting down, but I ended up drawing a bunny that's jumping and a bunny that's standing up to sort of make more things happen in this drawing. I'm then using a fine liner. This is a dark gray 0.1 fine liner. I find it a bit better than just using black because it makes the lines a bit more soft. It doesn't look as harsh as if you're just using pure black. So although black works too, I usually try to stick to brown or dark gray when it comes to these kind of paintings that I want to have a bit of a softer look to them. I make sure to include the little ear folds. I forgot them at first, but then I remembered. Now comes the fun part. We're gonna choose our colors. I'm gonna be using white for the highlights, and then I decided to follow this blue theme and use blues and grays to complement the paper color. I also included some warmer tones, this light yellow and this pink, to give it some warmth. I'm using the white dry pastel to make the outlines of the clouds. I just follow the lines where I sketched with my pencil. And then I also added a few more shapes to make them look fluffy. And this is where I want the light source to come from. I want it to shine from above upon the clouds and upon the bunnies. So I'm using this light yellow in the areas where I think the light would hit. And this is supposedly gonna give the painting or the artwork a bit of warmth, so it's not so blue and cold. Below the yellow, I use this light pink peachy color. I'm using the side of my chalk to block out the colors easier. This way the color pigment is a bit softer on the paper, it's not as pigmented. I used the darker blue in the areas where I want the shadows to be. I was a bit unsure about this color because when I saw it on the paper I thought it's really bright. It wasn't really what I had in mind, but it ended up working quite fine. And I used a bit of that grey to tone down a bit. I'm using the purple to define it a bit more in order to blend things out and make the clouds appear fluffy and not just like blobs. I use a paper tissue to blend out the chalk on the paper so it becomes a bit softer. Dry pastels are a lot about layering, just like with watercolor, so you're gonna see me go over and do this quite a lot. So I use different colors on top of these colors and then I blend them out and then I repeat the same process. You can see me adding more and more pink and purple into the painting because I thought it looked a bit flat with just the blue and white. At this point, when I'm adding the light yellow, I think it's starting to come together a bit. It's not at all what I had in mind from the start, because I didn't expect the dry pastels to be so bright. I thought they were gonna be a bit muted on this blue paper, but they're quite bright. But I think it looks good actually. Make sure to define your light areas with a lighter color. I'm using white here again, and I'm just going over the areas where I first put it down to make them pop a bit more. You will see me using my fingers for this part. I blend it out in areas where I think it looks a bit too harsh. I think with clouds you want to mix both softer lines and harsher lines because you want them to stand out from the background, but clouds are supposed to be soft and fluffy, so you don't want it to be too harsh. I'm making very small tight lines following the direction of the sun rays in order to give the painting some texture. I do this with all of the colors I used, so both the shadows and the white highlighted areas, and in some places I also did this with the pink and the yellow, but I didn't include it in the film. And then comes my favorite part. So this is where I'm using my sparkly paint. It's very pretty. It's what I used for my cloud bunnies for my watercolor painting. So I used this on top of the bunnies. And at first I put it down directly onto the paper, but I noticed it didn't look so good. It made the blue shine through quite a lot. So for the remaining bunnies, I used white gouache as a base, and then I went over with the sparkly paint, and I went back to the first bunny afterwards and redid it. Then I used the same paint in the highlighted areas on the clouds where I imagined the sun to be shining the most, and this is what really makes the artwork pop, I think. You can see it a bit here when I'm signing it. You see here? Look at that sparkle. Looks so much better in real life. I tried to film it in different lightings. Here I saw the light shine through a glass in a very pretty way. But we can't complete this video without asking the expert of everything fluffy and cute. Let's ask my dog what he thinks. Okay, what do you think? I think he approved. Right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video entertaining or helpful for your own dry pastel or painting journey. I would really appreciate if you hit the like button if you like this video. And don't forget to subscribe if you are interested in seeing more of my paintings and my painting journey. I hope I will see you again in my next video. Bye, take care.